All right, welcome SML to the first episode of Under the Hood, where we're going to break down one team each from the AFC and the NFC. Today, me and QP have Prime with us, so we're gonna rotate that third guest. I think Prime's got a little bit of experience with these two guys that we're about to talk about, and hopefully we're gonna kind of wing this one. Next week, we'll hope to be a little better prepared, and we'll just keep improving from there. But QP, I'm really excited. What do you think?
Definitely excited. I was honored when I asked you. I talked about to you in DMs, kind of about starting some shows. And last cycle, I wanted to get on a show with you. You're like the godfather of the production, SML production. So definitely excited to see where we go. Apologies in advance to everybody listening. We are winging it the first show in short notice. So let's see how it goes.
That's good though. We sandbagged the first one, and then it looks like we got like way better for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, Prime, you're our first guest, and I think these two guys you kind of have a little bit of experience with. So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, so I guess before we get too far into it, it's opposite ends of the spectrum. Dump can't beat me, and I can't beat Fazz. So I guess just to talk about Dump for a little bit, and before we look at the tape, I just want to say Dump is a guy who plays well against the lower competition, and then we've seen it time and time again where he struggles to hit the higher competition. So if we can, let's go ahead and look at the tape now. And Dump is a guy who I think in the red zone he struggles mightily. He likes flat routes in the red zone, a lot of PA flat routes, and if you go hard flats, that really seems to lock him down. He doesn't know what to do. He's a one-read player in the red zone. Again, flats, just a slant route, pretty simple stuff. Now, here's a clip here where he's actually rolling out, and he almost gets the touchdown, but he wanted the drag or flat routes. Running back, tight end, it's all the same. Pretty simple stuff in the red zone. 15th ranked red zone offense in the league. Very mediocre for one of the better offensive players in the league. That's a soft spot for Dump, again, is his red zone offense. Another tendency I've noticed is just flat PA, just play action on first down to start drives, and then go to the running back in the flat if a deep shot is covered. He's really a two-read offense. Play action, look for the streak, and if it's not there, look for a flat, and if it's not there, a panic and throw a pick. Again, play action. Is my flat there? Is my streak there? Let's throw the streak. This time he has a streak and it's incomplete. And that's what I have on Dump is this offense isn't the most complicated offense. He's a one or two trick pony. There's a play action pass thrown in, a streak and a flat. Not a whole lot of substance to it. And I think that's why come playoff time and time again, the dude can't win the big game is because when you play the great players who say, okay, hey, look, I'm going to put hard flats on, I'm going to play off on the fast guy, and I'm going to make him nickel and dime me intermediately down the field. He doesn't have the patience for it, and he can't get the job done. And big-time players are situational players. And I just don't think that situationally he's a great player.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, that it makes sense why when he comes up against good competition that kind of knows how to take one thing away, that's when he struggles. QP, he's in your conference. What do you think about Dump? What have you noticed?
Kind of the same thing that Prime was saying. He loves the streak routes. Christian Kirk is a heavy favorite that he likes to target in the streaks out of the pistol formation. And Max Williams, surprisingly, not very fast tight end, but Max Williams is one of his guys. He likes to hit up the seam routes a lot, and he's not afraid to do it every single play. Just about, he'll give one of his guys a streak option almost every time that there's a pass play. I think you've alluded to that, Bomber, and on that sit down that you had where. Last Madden, stopping the stretch run was hard, but you felt like there was at least something that you can maybe do to limit it. This Madden, you can call a pass in every single pass play. If there's a streak involved, you might be able to hit on it. Yeah. And Dump has had a ton of success with the streak routes. It's evident in Kyler Murray's stats. I think he's top 3 in passing, maybe top 1 in touchdowns, or just right around there. He likes to get out, though, with his feet with Kyler Murray as well, is what I've noticed. He'll run backwards with that escape artist. He'll do whatever he can to keep plays going because we all know the AI breaks down in this Madden. Every single play, if you roll out to the right-hand side, there's not really a lot of pressure, and he does do that a lot as well. Not a lot to talk about his run game offensively because it's not very impressive. Outside of Kyler Murray does do some fantastic plays here and there where he'll pick up 40 yards or so on the ground. But I think there's a couple videos that kind of show it defensively, and I'll let you kind of take that away because defensively, it's a little more of your field.
Yeah, so defensively here, and this is something I just watched a couple games trying to pick up. The thing I like to do is look at guys' users and see if there's a tendency of maybe they go a certain direction first every time with a user, or big one with Dookie. How I knew I was going to be able to move the ball fine on Dookie was he would leave his first guy immediately. As soon as the second guy came in, he jumped to the second guy with the user. So I knew the first guy, it was a matter of waiting for him to open up. And with Dump, there was something I noticed in just watching 2 games, went over, confirmed it through a couple other games. And I'll pull up the video here. And what you'll notice with Dump is when you're in shotgun, his first move is always back. He always uses the 2 middle linebackers. And in shotgun, he's always immediately jumping out to a pass. And you can see that here in these videos. He immediately jumps back. There's a running lane open. Now, when you switch to under center, his first move is always to try to shoot right up to the line, try and stop the run. And on those 2 plays, you can see the user got caught out of position, whether it be the run or the pass. So I think that's something that can be exploited in Dump's game, especially on defense. And maybe I'm not the first one to catch that. Maybe that has been picked up on because his defense isn't usually that great. Last year he had the 49ers, and that held him back. This year he does have the 8th ranked points or scoring defense, but he's 11th in pass yards, 16th in rush. If you haven't already picked up on that, I think that's a really good way to exploit his defense, and maybe guys will be able to do that. So with everything that we talked about, what do you guys think? Prime, we'll start with you. How would you offensively attack Dump's team?
Yeah, I actually was in his division, or he was actually in my division back a Madden cycle or 2 ago. And I noticed that too with the user backing up out of the shotgun. We all know the Prime loves inside zones. That's how you attack that. You get out of the shotgun, you can run some draw plays, some inside zones, go right at that user because more often than not, you're going to gain 5 yards just because he's moving backwards. You might be inclined to go a lot of play action against that user from under center when he charges in. You might get that, or he might actually get through it and sack your quarterback. Some stuff that I would recommend are just standard passes, under center passes, tight end seam routes, a tight end crosser routes, drag routes, stuff where the middle linebacker, that's his assignment, and you know he's going to be out of position pretty quick. That's the stuff that I would recommend. Dump is not the best user in the league. You should be able to run on him well. You should be able to throw it over him. His defense overall, he's not doing a whole lot of complex scheme. Usually if you see cover 2, it's cover 2. If you see cover 3, it's cover 3. He's not throwing a whole lot of different man combo coverages together. What you see is what you get with Dump.
Mm-hmm. All right, QP, so what about defensively? How would you work on stopping that offense?
Yeah, so it would be difficult. I would surprisingly, I would actually call a little bit more man plays than usual because he loves the streak route. And if you have a decent speed cornerback, you could stay with his streak. Christian Kirk is not one of the guys that will, blow the top off the defense like a Mecole Hardman or Tyreek Hill, somebody that has a little bit more speed. He's about a 92, 93 speed, maybe max. So I wouldn't worry about too much getting beat. It's the fact that a lot of people love cover 3s in this league, and they love to call the cover 3 zone. That is prone to giving up the streak, up the seam or the slot streak because the safety will come down. A lot of people like the hard flat as well. So I would say don't try to limit the cover 3s, and when you do call the cover 3, make sure you're calling it on the right side. Don't have the safety come down on that side or the safety hedge over the opposite side where Christian Kirk is going up the seam route. And then with the tight end, I would focus on the tight end. He has a lot of. I'm looking at his team, and it is Christian Kirk and Max Williams. It feels like he'll throw in D-Hop. DeAndre Hopkins is doing his thing as well, obviously. But as far as receptions go, DeAndre Hopkins is 3rd on the team. It's actually Max Williams is 2nd, and Christian Kirk is by a landslide the first guy. I see a lot of big plays. I would try to limit the big plays. Just try to keep everything underneath you. Like Prime said, he's not that patient. He wants the big plays. Last year with the Niners, he wanted the big plays with Edens. He wanted the big plays with Ayuk. It's just how he plays. He wants 25 yards per pass. He doesn't want the 6-yard pass and then maybe the 4-yard run and things like that. So try to keep him underneath you. I know it's a lot easier said than done with that speed that he has and Kyler Murray. But something I was wondering is, do you think people are starting to figure it out with him? Because you're starting to see his scores get closer and closer each week. It's a 5-point game. It's a 6-point game. Even against the teams that you're expecting him to beat by a little bit more. Do you think that with people are catching on to Christian Kirk being the number one guy, do you think that they're starting to find out that you should limit his streaks? Because I'm seeing that he was averaging over 100 yards a game. Now it's at 91 a game.
I think it's a combination of people figuring him out, but also, since the season started, we've had 2 patches on pass coverage, and it maybe has taken away some of the things he likes to do, or at least made him a little more difficult. I think that probably plays more into it rather than guys catching up just yet. All right.
I agree.
So that's our breakdown of Dump. So the next one up is going to be Fazz. What do you think about Fazz, Prime?
Yeah, I actually didn't get any tape on Fazz, but hey, we're winging it, so we'll do what we can. So Fazz, I've played a few times. I've played him in the Super Bowl. Last Madden cycle, I think Fazz was looked at as an elite passer, obviously, and a good runner. This Madden cycle, I would say his Achilles heel offensively is running the ball. I think he's 30th roughly in the league rushing yards. His running back isn't Dalvin Cook. His offensive line isn't that great. So that's his Achilles heel. But doesn't matter because I think, in my opinion, he's the best passer in the SML. He's really got it all, and I know that it's common knowledge. He loves his crossing routes, whether it's intercepting crossing routes, 15, 20 yards down the field with digs, or whatever the case may be. With that Josh Allen escape artist and throw power, it's just tough to guard that for 5-6 seconds. He also, in his arsenal, the big thing, we're dating back to last cycle especially, was the high-low reads on the outside, the Fazz corner routes. Mike FML could tell you all about it. He'll have a flat route or a 5-10 yard out route, then he'll have the 20-yard corner route. What I think the easiest thing to do to try to slow that down, really, and I guess I'll get into that I'll get into that later. Actually, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But so he likes those high-low reads, the corner routes, the out routes, and another thing that he likes to do defensively, he likes to take away your pass game. He knows the hot reads, he knows where the ball's supposed to go, and he's got a pretty solid use. But just like offense, he's bad at running. He's also kind of weak at stopping the run. His run defense is in the 20s, or at least the bottom third of the league. So maybe come playoff time, there could be a chink in that armor. You see it all the time. If somebody starts running on Fazz, he gets a little emotional about it.
Yeah. What about you, QP? I know we talked a little bit before the show, and you brought up a lot of similar points to what Prime was talking about there.
Yeah, it's almost like he took what I said to him on the phone call. No, I would say the same thing. He loves the crossing routes. He likes to send 4 guys to the same side. They're all doing, like he said, a levels type of route concept where one's maybe running a drag, one's running a 15-yard crosser, and then you got a deep ball over the top that Josh Allen can hit you with. And then he'll send the opposite guy, maybe a running back, maybe a tight end. He goes and sends them the opposite way as a decoy, basically. And you're running everybody to that side that all those guys are running to, and then it has that tight end right on the right side for a drag or a little corner, a little out route. Like Prime said, he loves those out routes where he has the high-low levels, where he'll have one guy run maybe a 5-yard out, and then the next guy runs that big corner route. That's what he's really looking for. He reads defenses great. He really has an eye for what and a knowledge of what he wants to do passing-wise. He knows that he has something. I think that he's one of the best, if not the best passer, because when he's throwing making his reads, he knows that no matter what, he has something at the end of the day for maybe a 5-yard completion, and you never go broke making a deposit. So I'd say offensively, that's probably what it is. Running, like Prime said, like Prime alluded to, that running is. I thought mine was bad. He's averaging 33 yards a game with his leading running back, which is Devin Singletary, 4 yards a carry. Matt Breida, almost 5 yards a carry, but only 18 yards a game. If you can somehow stop the pass, you got a chance to stop his offense. Now, obviously, that's a lot easier said than done because he averages 300 yards a game and he's completing 75% of his passes. So, every 20 times he's throwing the ball, he's completing 15 of those. And he only has 14 interceptions to his 36 touchdowns. and 14 yards a pass as well. So I don't know how to. It's a lot easier to maybe stop a guy like Dump than it will be to stop Fazz. Now I play Dump soon. I'll probably eat my words for that. But if you could try to, like Prime said, maybe slow the game down in the playoffs, maybe get some weather on your side, and play a patient game. Now, patience is a virtue, and we'll talk about that when we get to Fazz's defense as well, because we do have a few clips that talk about if you're patient, you can get some gains.
Yeah, so one thing I noticed about Fazz's user was just like everybody else for the most part, he uses that sub linebacker or his, middle linebacker. Occasionally he will use the safety. If you can figure out that he's on the safety, though, his first move is always in. It seems like that's what he does when he wants to try and take away the run. He'll use that safety and immediately come up. But for the most part, when he's using, he's not attacking the line, kind of like how we saw Dump did when you were under center. Fazz kind of stays back a little more and tries to take away that pass game. But he doesn't jump around very much. A lot of times he'll stay with that first guy and he'll just follow him all the way to the sideline, or at least to the numbers, and then come back and try to cover the middle. So you can't get him jumping like you can with some of the other guys. So that's all I got on his user. He's really good with it as far as staying disciplined. He doesn't get out of position a lot like some guys do. So there's not much to take advantage of on that, other than knowing if you send a second guy through, he may have ran his user out of the way. So Prime, how would you attack him with your offense?
Yeah, I just want to note first, I think that if Dump put in the time that Fazz does, I think they could actually be somewhat similar players. I think that Dump is a really, really, really poor man's Fazz with the passing game and all that. I just think that they're similar. That said, to take away that offense, it's going to be tough. And not to be cliche, but it's a guy you want to slow down. We're going to assume that his running game, at least as his roster stands today, isn't going to eat you alive. If it does, you're probably done for. But that passing game, let's say you have one game, it's in the playoffs. My strategy will be, I'll just put it out here. You cannot go base cover 3. You cannot go base cover 2 or even base man blitzes. It's not going to work. You're going to have to pick a guy, and if you think you see a formation that's stacked on the outside where you think it's going to be the high-low corner out, you're going to have to sell on it. There's some guys who when I play them, I just try to play general defense and I try to cover everything, and that works. With Fazz, you literally have to predict what's going to happen, and it's probably going to burn you sometimes, but that's the only way you're going to stop them. So if you think that corner route's coming, call a cover 3, throw a man or two hot route coverages in there, so you have a combo defense. If you call straight man, throw a curl flat in there, throw another deep zone in there. Just very very complex coverages that you wouldn't normally call. In a guessing game, it's a chess match. You're not going to stop him unless if you guess, and then if you guess right more often than not. That's how I would play it. And also, if he's going to run it, make him run it on you. Come out more nickel and dime packages than you typically would. That's how you're going to stop him. Make him be patient. Fazz is used to getting chunks. He's used to throwing the ball around the field. He doesn't like running it. He doesn't want to run it. He wants to throw the ball. So make him be patient and see what happens.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea of getting him out of what he wants to do, even if it's just by giving up something else. QP, you had alluded to some stuff that you found might be good for attacking him. What did you find?
Yeah, so I have a couple of videos. The first one I'll take it to. It's going to be in the third quarter. It's Clink versus Fazz. Two guys that know each other very well. Clink kind of knows what he wants to do offensively, so maybe that's why it was a closer game than maybe what people would have anticipated. But here in this play that I'm looking at, you have Clink, it's up 14-7 in this position. He's winning the game. It's second half, and he's on his side of the field, or he's on the good side of the field, past the 50, on the 40-yard line, actually. So he's almost in field goal position, maybe already in field goal position. What it looks like, what you have is you have the entire left side of the field open. So you see he's stacking everybody heavy on the right-hand side. He's using Tremaine Edmonds, which is his linebacker he loves to use. He's a very good user, as we've all talked about. And it looks like you have the left-hand side of the field open, and you do. And he actually says in his comments to Clink when they're talking, like, what are you running here? You look like you have R1. You maybe have a couple quarterbacks that can make this throw, to be honest. But chances are, if you're watching this, you don't have that quarterback that can make that throw. You don't have Patrick Mahomes. You don't have Josh Allen. You don't have Kyler Murray, the guys with maybe that bazooka or with the that arm strength that I never have been blessed to have. I don't know what that talent is for the superstar ability because I don't have it. Things like the bullet passer, velocity passer, whatever. But you have that R1 open, but if you rewind it and you look back closely, you actually have a small play, a square. It's a little curl route. That left-hand side is wide open. You don't have to force that. It looks so open over the top, that R1 crossing route. You don't have to force that route. It looks sexy. 30 yards looks sexy. But against Fazz, he wants you to try to get that. He wants you to try to make the big play because he's a great user and he has great defensive tendencies and schemes that he does. He does a lot of hot routes when he plays his defense. He doesn't come out there with a cover 4. He comes out there with a funky. His sticks are moving so fast. His joystick, I could hear it going crazy on his stream. But if you look back and rewind that play, you do have, sorry to get back into that, you have square wide open on a curl route. Just check down, take the 8-yard play. Look closely right there. You have a wide open play because Tre'Davious White is picking up that crossing route. So that's one of the plays I do have. Then there's another one that I do have as well that does highlight his user also.
All right, so let's pull that up.
Yeah, so let me know when you have that one up right there so I can talk about it. So it is right here. If you look closely on this play, he has a tight end curl route that he picks up right away, which is a great pickup by him. And as he picks that up, because Fazz is a great user, he's one of the best in the league. He's a Simbardi champion for a reason. When you see him coming across the middle with the slant route, he immediately identifies that. He sprints right over there. And again, there's not a lot of guys that can make a user lurk interception like that. There's maybe 4 guys in the league that can do that. And Clink was shocked, of course. Clink's yelling on the stream if you listen closely to that one as well. He's wondering how he did it. And then, obviously, Fazz lets his stick skills do the rest. And he's one of the stickiest guys with his thumbs. When he has this hesitation move that he does it with his Dalvin Cook last year. He does it this year with some Rudy Poos that he plays with in the secondary. I don't even know who intercepted that pass right there. Harris. I don't know who that is, but look at the stick skills as he finishes and gets into the end zone for a user pick. It's suddenly a game again. But if you rewind that play, yet again, we go back to it. You don't have to try to make the big play. Now, that was a great user. There's not much you can do about that if you want to hit that slant route. But if you look closely, coming out of the backfield, you have Triangle, the running back, wide open. He's coming out. The D-end, I think it's like Jerry Hughes or one of these Bills D-ends. He's not going to stick with him for that route. Initially, he stands up. He looks like he's going to cover it. But the speed of the running back to the D-end, it quickly separates itself. And he does. You have another 6-yard, 7-yard gain. And patience is key to beating that defense against Fazz because he wants you to try to go for the big play. That's what he wants. He wants you to try to do it, gamble, and then he wants to make you pay for it with the interception.
All right, so that puts us right at about 25 minutes. We broke down the 2 number 1 seeds in the SML right now, and hopefully, maybe thanks to this video, neither one of them will be number 1 seeds. We'll see if we'll see if that works out. But Prime, appreciate having you on, and hopefully we'll get a little more in depth in the future episodes. But I think this went pretty well, and like I said, hopefully everybody likes this. What we'll do is everybody that watches this video comment who you want to see as the next 2 teams broken down in the comments, and we'll break down whoever gets the most votes. All right. So with that, that's the end of our first episode.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.